right now and see. Okay, so we're live on YouTube.
So we're live on YouTube?
Yeah. Okay, so we'll do second. Hector, what's your last name?
Reyes.
Description. Okay, I'm ready.
Ready?
So 3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, welcome to the second episode that we're live recording here in El Paso. I have my buddy here, Hector Reyes, who is the founder of PHP here in El Paso. And again, this is the second interview that we're recording live. So, forgive us if the sound's not very good. We're trying to figure out things still. You're basically looking at the behind the scenes right now. And we are about to start recording for the podcast. So I just want to welcome everybody. I hope you have a great time here with us today, recording this episode live with Hector. And, I put the link in case you want to check previous episodes. Just go to thehustleshow.co. It's really taking off. Very excited for everything that's going on. And if anybody is watching this, feel free to drop your comments down in this video. And if we have time, we'll do like a quick Q&A at the end. Only if we have time, so I can't promise that. But appreciate you being here, and I am ready to start recording the episode if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready, man. Thank you so much for having me on your hustle show, man.
Sure.
It's amazing, brother. Amazing what you've done in such a short amount of time now.
Yeah.
It's a privilege to be here, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And you're going to have to be a little closer to that mic because I could barely hear you.
All right. You got me right there?
Yeah, that's much better.
Cool.
All right, so here we go, guys. So again, you're watching the behind the scenes. Of course, this is not going to be on the podcast episode. But here we go, and this is the actual way that we always start a podcast show, and some of the stuff that you actually never get to see because this is edited and it's taken out of the podcast, okay? So here we go. All right, hustlers, so in today's episode, we have my amazing friend, Hector. Welcome, Hector.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much for having me here.
I'm very excited to have you here. We're live here in El Paso. If you're listening this on our podcast show right now, we are recording this in person. So you might hear a little background noise from the traffic because we have a nice view here in an office that Hector opened recently where, we're in at the third floor. But of course it's on top of the freeway. So the view is really nice from here from El Paso. So, and again, we're going to dig into the story. We're going to do a regular show. It's just a little different format because, it's exciting to be able to provide this, in person. And not only in person, but everybody right now has the ability to jump into the live stream. So we're doing both, see how it goes. And you right now, listening to us right now, to all the hustlers, shoot us an email to me, what you think of this episode being recorded in person, if you like it or if you don't like it, if we should just stick to online, just let me know. Social media, The Hustle Show, or just shoot me an email at Christian at The Hustle Show. But we'll start with, I wanna dig into your story, man. I know you were born here in El Paso / Juarez, the border, and you come from a pretty tough background, and you went through a lot of stuff. You had to survive and come out of pretty dark places, but at the same time, you've started different businesses, and what you're doing right now here in El Paso, opening PHP, your own agency with now 60 agents, which is impressive. And now this is not your first office either, and we'll get to that. But I want to hear a little bit more about your story. How did you get involved into entrepreneurship to begin with?
So we go back to looking at two things. One was I looked at my mom working 30, 40 years for Lee and Levi's, and she sacrificed a lot. She was working there very religiously, day in, day out, until her arms gave out. So now she's disabled. And by the time that Levi's closed here in El Paso, Texas, they gave her $10,000 severance pay to go to school, which to me, that was a slap in the face because she sacrificed so much and now she didn't have anything anymore. So from that point on, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna build something on my own. I have to build something that is that is mine. I'm not gonna sacrifice 34 years of my life to build somebody else's dream and then be kicked to the curb. So that's what pushed me into actually becoming an entrepreneur. I wanted to own my own business. I didn't even know the word entrepreneur back then yet. I just knew that I wanted to, to actually own something.
Right.
So I wouldn't be caught up in that situation. The other thing is that I come from like you said, I come from a very tough background. I'm an 8th grade high school dropout. I'm not, I didn't go to college or anything like that, and I was going the wrong direction. And fortunately, events happened in my life that actually changed my mindset. And I said, you know what, that's not what I want for my life. That's not what I envision myself. I don't see myself ending up like a lot of people that I've known. So what I decided to do is, what better way to learn from people that have already done it.
Right.
So that's where my entrepreneurial journey.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. And that's another topic that it always comes to on every podcast episode that we record is, why do you want to reinvent the wheel if you can get the mentorship from other people who have achieved similar things to what you want? And it sounds to me like we're about to hear something similar to that in your story. So guide us a little bit. So you were going through a rough patch, and then what happened that changed your path?
So a couple of things happened. 2001, going to community college. I'm trying to become a mechanic and open up my own shop, but I needed to make some money. So I ended up working with Dish Network. When I come to Dish Network, it's a call center, and I started going through the training process. In the training process, I'm getting trained by this guy. That he's actually pitching HBO Cinema Showtime Stars to every single call. So I kind of, I was like wondering, why are you doing this? So he started telling me about a concept that we're having there, and I'm coming in 6 months at disadvantage. You got to think about that. There's 3,000 people in this network at this time.
Right. They started before you.
Exactly. So I'm right there, and they're already. To me, that concept was like, I wanted to get the Dish dollar because they were every sale that you made, they give a Dish dollar, so you would trade them for electronics, PlayStations, all kinds of stuff. So I'm like, that's pretty cool. So what I started doing, every single call, I started selling, HBO Cinema Showtime Stars. Long story short, I ended up being the top salesman of the year. Ended up winning all expenses paid trip to Las Vegas. Yeah, it was pretty cool, man. I mean, I was only 19 years old. I wasn't even supposed to be in Vegas, but I was there, man, with everything paid. And
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. So I was like, you know what? Maybe there's something for me in sales. So from there on, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pursue this. However, like you said, I was still, in my old lifestyle, and I was still not following the right direction. So what happened with me back moving forward 2003, I had something happen in my life that actually completely shifted my mindset. And I said, you know what? From now on, what I want to do is I want to get a good job. I want to get a job that is going to teach me what I need to know, to be able to better myself. So I ended up applying at El Paso Times. A lot of people told me, you're not going to get hired. You don't have no education.
You always get those, huh?
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of people are like, "No, man, that's not for you. Just go to a restaurant, go do something else. You got a better chance to do that, right?" So I took a chance. And what I did is, it's actually a funny story because what I did is I went and applied, but I asked who was a person that was actually interviewed. So they told me the name, Yvonne Gomez. And I got to give a lot of love to Yvonne because she was my first mentor.
Nice.
I ended up calling 2 days later, and I remember calling, can I speak with Yvonne Gomez? She picked up the phone, and I told Mrs. Gomez, the reason I'm calling is because I got several calls on my caller ID from El Paso Times, so I figure you're calling me for anything. She's like, that can't be. I'm like, what is that? I got your application in front of me, and I was about to call you. She's like, so I like your initiative, so come on in, and let's go ahead and sit down and talk about this. I come in, 45 minutes later, we didn't talk about nothing about the job. Turns out she has a similar background to mine, so we connected. We became friends right there and there, and I gave her a challenge. I told her, you know what, man, if I don't become one of your top salesmen in the first 3 months, you can fire me or I'll quit. So she's like, yeah, I like challenges, so she gave me a chance. She took a chance on me. That was my first mentor. I ended up working with El Paso Times Started learning. You know, I was that annoying guy calling you to get a subscription over the phone.
The one that we all hate, and the cold calling.
Exactly.
That's good, man.
Yeah. No, I mean, trust me, I hang up with some of those guys too. But you know what? It was a process. You know, I learned a lot. There was a magazine coming into town that El Paso Times was bringing from Phoenix. It was called TV Mas. So she put me on that project. And I remember that she's like, "Hey, I need you to go give me spots where we can deliver this magazine at." So I'm going over there. I got about 100 locations right away. Won that because she made a contest, so I won that contest too. And then I tell her, "Hey, they're asking me how much are we gonna charge them for this?" So I'm like, "Why don't we charge for this, man? Why are you giving it for free?" I didn't understand marketing. I didn't understand advertising. So she sat down with me. She's like, "No, let me teach you how marketing works, how advertising works." And that's where everything got started, man. When she taught me that, it opened up my eyes, and I'm like, I want to be selling advertising. There was no positions at that moment with the El Paso Times for me to work in the marketing part of it or selling advertising. So, 2006, I had the opportunity to work with the Diario del Paso, which is a Spanish newspaper here. Right there, I got this opportunity to work directly selling advertising, dealing with business owners. And like I said, I was a sponge, man. I was a sponge. I just wanted to learn everything and anything. Like I was telling you earlier when we were talking, when I was going through that process, I was servicing my clients, and I wanted to do the best job that I could. So I remember that I used to have to take all the ads, send them to the advertising, to the graphic design department so that they can build the ads and everything. And it was taking too long. The process was too long. So I'm like, I went to some of my friends in the back and I was like, "Can you teach me how to design?" So they started.
I love the initiative, man. Yeah. For sure.
So by the time that when these guys were teaching me, man, we're like, you know what? Some of my clients, by the time I was finished selling them the ad was already done. I had to design everything while they were there. So the process became much easier. So I created better relationships with my clients. Moving forward to that, I said, you know what? I know how to sell. Why not start my own business? Why don't I sell for myself? So I started the first magazine. I partnered up with a friend of mine, and we started a magazine called Paso Auto Sellers and Classifieds, which we used to deliver at the bridges. We knew how to sell, but we didn't know how to run a business.
Right.
So,
two different complete animals.
Exactly, right? So we're like, okay, so we're cut up selling advertising, selling all this kind of stuff, overhead, all that accounting, all that kind of stuff. And there was only two guys trying to do everything. So I'm like, you know what, this is not gonna work. So we ended up parting ways. We ended up deciding, you know what, this is not something that we can pursue. We don't have the funding. We don't have enough money to actually keep it afloat. So they just part ways. But I still, inside of me, I was like, I can't give up. I gotta do something. So I started doing my research, and in that time, I already learned how to do design. So I was doing pretty much all the design, all the web design, everything for the magazine. So I said, there's got to be a better way, so that I don't have that overhead. So I ended up going into online, looking at Dallas magazines, LA, Chicago, New York, and ended up finding out that a lot of these magazines, they were already starting to go online and starting to their print. It was already decreasing. So when I saw that, I'm like, you know what? That's where everything is going. Everything is going online. So I decided to open up the first only online magazine here in El Paso. It was called Unlimited the Magazine. We used to go to the clubs. We used to be with promoters, entertainment, things like that. And then we tried to involve a little bit of business into it. First 6 months, we had 2.2 million views, which was great.
Right.
However,
it's impressive.
Yeah, thank you, man. And however, we had a challenge, man. We had a challenge. We're ahead of our time. And El Paso was still telling me, a lot of people were like, no, this is not gonna work. A lot of people were telling me, you know what, nobody wants to go online, which
we always hear that,
right?
It's every time you try to start something, there's always at least 3 people that are gonna say that's stupid. Like, why are you doing that?
Exactly, man. I mean, but you know what? I was like, I was determined. I was like, you know what? Maybe this is not the right timing. So I gotta continue sharpening my skills. So I had the opportunity to work with the Albuquerque Hispanic Chamber of Commerce right after that, and this was in 2009. 2009, we ended up working with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Had the privilege to work with an amazing CEO, amazing people, amazing staff that actually taught me a lot about business, a lot about structure, and ended up dealing just with pure business owners directly. They were my clients. So I started picking their brain. Like I said, another moment that I had to be a sponge. I had to absorb everything that I could learn from them, so that I can take it and use it to what I wanted to do. So ended up working with them. We took on an Latino initiative. I was actually the head of a committee, heading with different media organizations. I had on Univision TV, Univision Radio, several local newspapers, and they were backing me up to actually create something in Spanish for the Latino community in Albuquerque. Well, doing that taught me so much about structure, taught me so much about business. So from there on, I'm like, you know what? I gotta do this again. I gotta try it again. You know,
Right,
I had
right.
that. You know when you have that.
Yeah, that passion inside, like, I'm not gonna keep quit. I'm gonna try it again.
Exactly. I was like, you know what? It's me working for somebody else. It wasn't gonna work. To me, I was like, I have to do something on my own. I have to. So I ended up going back into freelancing in web development, and also started buying and selling cars for several years. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to have that freedom to travel, to go to different places to see what was out there for me, and to try to figure out exactly what I needed to do. So I ended up traveling. I ended up moving to Chicago. And in Chicago, I lasted like about 2 years there, and I was freelancing and got involved with a manufacturing company that was doing hydrogen systems, which was pretty amazing. However, they're still in R&D, research and development, so it's still not hitting the marketplaces yet. So I didn't see that as a short-term,
Right.
return on my investment yet. So what I did is ended up moving back to Texas. After going through Chicago, I was traveling to Chicago, Denver, and Texas all at the same time. So I'm like, let's go back to Texas. Let's see what's going on. At this time, oil boom is happening. So I'm like, you know what? There's a lot of money over there. Let's see what's going on over there. Since I was selling cars, I ended up getting involved with the local Chevy store, and I started selling cars. There, I met my partner, which is Chanel Consuni, which she was actually the manager for the local Sawgrass. She was opening up stores all over Texas, and now we have a beautiful baby girl. She's
Nice. Congratulations.
thank you, man. And she's about to be 3 years old.
Wow.
And when we were there, she had the opportunity to go to Arlington. So I'm like, let's go. Midland is too small of a town for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? After living in Chicago, Denver, and
Right.
other cities, I was like,
And everybody listening, I mean, Midline is, a few thousand people, small city,
well,
or
not a few thousand, man. I mean, it's
not that small,
not that small.
but it's definitely one of the small cities out there.
It feels like
So
like
especially when you're
Pacific.
moving back from Chicago.
Yeah, it does
Yeah,
feel like that after
yeah,
you lived
exactly.
in Chicago, man. So it's,
So you move there, and then so what happens?
So when we're there, I'm actually this happened to December 2015. Okay, so I'm taking a course with Jordan Belfort because I wanted to sharpen my sales skills. And I remember my little girl at this time, she's about a year and a month. And one of my friends tells me, hey, you know what, Hector, you should put these videos for the baby. She's gonna be able to learn how to read faster. You got these cubes that on the video. I don't know the name of the video, but it's some cubes on there, like the learning cubes. And I'm like, okay, cool. So as I'm going through YouTube, I get a recommendation on the YouTube videos, and I see one that says unlearn, and the U and the N are the cubes. I'm like, oh, that's the video he's talking about. So I play it. All of a sudden, I hear Patrick Bet-David, which a lot of people already know who he is, and I started hearing him. He started talking about. At first, I thought this is for my baby, but then as he's going through the whole video, I'm like, this is not for her at all.
Like you have this, CEO entrepreneur talking to babies. He's like, no, what's going on here?
Yeah, exactly. Like, is he gonna teach her how to read or what?
Right.
But what happened is that he started talking about something that I've always believed, which is since we're kids, we're being taught on how to live life. Go to school, go to work, get a good grades, get a good job, get a good career, get a degree, and you're gonna be set for life. It's not happening right now. We have the highest unemployment rates. We have the highest debt in school loans, in the history. We have people that are coming out of college. They're with their degrees. They're not even using it. They're going to go work back at Walmart, Home Depot, just to pay their student loans, which is kind of sad. And a lot of people are getting unemployed, and people are being laid off for somebody else that has younger, more. It brings more to the table. So when I saw that, I was like, you know what? This is exactly the way I think. It's the same mentality. So as I saw the whole video, it's a 28-minute video, so it's pretty long. For me to watch the whole thing, I was like, you know what? It's very interesting.
Right.
So when I saw it, I was like, you know what? This is the best sales presentation that I've seen. But I never heard of this guy. So I was wondering, who's Patrick Bet-David? I was like, never heard of him. But then when I started going into his channel, Valutainment, I started seeing him interview Mark Cuban, Robert Kiyosaki, Grant Cardone, all these people that I've always followed. So I'm like, man, I started watching every one of his videos, and I started learning so much from him. Over a period, I could say, you should know, could I tell you, like I was in the house, I was playing Patrick Bet-David's videos. I was in the car, and I was playing just the audio, even though we were driving. And she's like, can we put some music? No, hold on. Let's get some other episodes. So January 1st, 2016, he's on a live feed, and he's still in California. And he starts talking about the goals, about what are your goals for 2016, what is it you want to do. So I'm like, you know what? This is the perfect time, because I've always been a visual person. I've never been a reader. I picked up a book, read first chapter, second chapter, and that was done. I was like,
enough is enough.
Yeah, like I was like, okay, I can't continue reading this book. My concentration wasn't there, right? So I wanted to get a tip. I'm like, hey, Patrick, I know that reading books is so important for entrepreneurship. So what do you recommend? He challenged me. He's like, you know what? You just need to stop making excuses and just read a book. so I was like, okay, all right. So I felt challenged by that. I messaged them, and we started connecting through Facebook. Then that's when we started moving to Arlington. So we get there, I think it was the last week of January 2016, and I'm unpacking everything, right? So the following week, it was on a Tuesday. I remember he went on a live feed, but this time he's in Plano, Texas. That's about an hour away from me. So I'm like, man, I gotta meet this guy. I gotta get his mentorship. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I have to meet this guy, and I want to get his mentorship. So I had already done my research on what his company was all about, and I found out that it was life insurance. So when I saw that it was life insurance, I even told Chanel, I'm like, you know what? I don't see myself selling life insurance. That's not something that I don't even understand it. You know what I mean?
That was not the dream, definitely.
Exactly. Like who sells life insurance? And so then I'm like, you know what? I asked him another question. I told him, you know what? We want to get into real estate. Can we sell your products on top of that? So I asked that question. He didn't get a chance to answer me. But a gentleman from Houston, Texas, he reached out to me through Messenger, and he invited me to the office in Dallas. Long story short, moving forward with what happened with PHP, me and Chanel decided to go all in with the company. We decided to take a chance on this journey, which was a big challenge, because we were very comfortable. We were, getting very good, you could say salaries, because I was more than commission, but she was a salary. But we were making really good money. We were comfortable. We didn't have to take a chance on a fully commission based type of business. And what happened after that, it was the best decision that we made, because we started learning about what PHP has to offer to the community. Not only just the monetary part, but it's also how it's going to change and affect people's lives. When I saw that, I reached out to my people back in Midland, because I knew one gentleman. His name is Alexander Gutierrez, very sharp guy, and I had to let him know about this opportunity. Turns out, at first he wasn't very thrilled about it, just like me. But 2 months later, he started seeing everything that was evolving with PHP. He reaches out to me. Now he opened up the office in Milden and Odessa. Part of my team, and we've seen him grow so much over there that now he's actually opened up Arlington now. So we started Dallas, then Milden, Odessa. Now he's opened up Arlington.
Nice.
And I say, you know what? We gotta open up El Paso. We have to open up El Paso. People in El Paso have to know what this opportunity offers. Not only, like I said, monetary, and I actually impact lives because I things that families, there's GoFundMe accounts, all that kind of stuff. It hits home because you know what? Educate people more than anything. Just letting them know, educate people on. So then we decided when we decided to come to El Paso, where we only have 3 people at the office, which is exactly
you basically doing everything on your own, and maybe 2 other guys.
This whole process, part of what I've been through, part of what my history and what I've been able to learn from people that have opened up and actually taught me so many things in business. I say, you know what? There's got to be a way that we can open up an opportunity. Now, learning directly from Patrick and his mentorship, and from Jason Graziani and all the team at PHP, it made me realize one thing: that a lot of people, first things that they got to change is their mindset. And a lot of the mindset that we have, especially coming from a background that I have, is that, oh no, my life's already messed up. This is all I could do. There's no opportunities for me because of my background, because of whatever it is, right? So we decided to create a program, which is now Mentors Only. Mentors Only was created with the purpose that we wanted to interview people that have been successful. We wanted to actually, show other people that want to start up in business, or they want to have an opportunity to do something big, to let them know that there's people out there that are willing to help.
Right.
The biggest challenge is that a lot of times you don't know how to reach out to those people.
Yeah.
Or you don't even know what you want to do. Right. So what better way to actually to be able to figure out what industry you want to be in, and then figure out exactly who's been in that industry, who has been successful in that industry, and learn directly from them. Kind of like what we're doing right now with PHP. Right. We're learning directly from somebody that's amazing. Our CEO, Patrick David, the whole leadership team that's been teaching us exactly how to run this business, how to open up different offices, and they're guiding us, step by step, exactly what we need to do. So that's amazing. You don't have that anywhere else. When you go into business, you're in there by yourself, man.
You are, yeah. And that's something that always comes to topic in most of the podcast episodes. And I hate to repeat myself, but there's no need to reinvent the wheel when you know that somebody else achieved something similar to what you want. So why not reach out to those people? But it goes back to when you're starting out, it's really difficult to reach out to these people and get their attention.
Exactly.
Because you're not known out there. You're not a celebrity or anything. You're barely starting. Mm-hmm. There's no proof to show them like, okay, well, I've sold $10 million and, this is why you need to help me. Like, there's nothing to show them. Mm-hmm. So, that's one of the things that it keeps coming up and up in every podcast episode. Like, how do you reach out to them? And I went through it too. I've been an entrepreneur all my life, but nobody knew who I was. Nobody knew what I was doing. So when I started the show, it's like, well, now how do I reach to the people? Like, how do I talk to them? How do I want them to share their story and open up for me and my audience, like, without knowing who I am? And so how were you able to overcome those things? Like, what allowed you to always be able to reach out to that kind of people and always find mentors for what you were doing?
It's especially because sometimes people are just afraid that they're gonna get a no.
Right.
And you're gonna get a lot of those, man. I get no's all the time. That's part of the process, man. But the thing is, you just gotta knock on doors. For example, my good friend, and I consider him as a mentor as well. George Almaraz, you just did an interview with him.
Yeah, we just had him the previous episode from this, and he shared his story. Amazing guy.
Exactly. I look up to this guy. Amazing entrepreneur. He's actually one of the first people that actually believed in me when I did the magazine back in 2009. So we go way back. When I came back to El Paso, we met in December, and we're like, you know what? He knew I was with PHP. He didn't still know what PHP was all about, and he probably thought it was a coding thing. Exactly coding. Right. And then he was with WFG, which is the World Financial Group, and he was doing very well with that company. So I was like, you know what? This is not the right timing to talk about this. So we didn't try to recruit each other. Eventually, he did find out that we're in the same industry, but we still didn't try to recruit each other. I go to Florida for our PHP University, which is an amazing type of training that is being led by Patrick Bete and all the leadership in the company. So I come back, the moment that I come back to El Paso, I reach out to George, and I'm like, hey, George, you know what, we got to sit down and talk about that. You actually got to see this. You got to see what we're about to do with this industry, man. And whether it's for you or not, at least take a view of this. So he did. He actually started looking at what PHP was doing, the vision. He already had been following Patrick Bet. He didn't know that was the CEO of PHP. So we started connecting. This was about two months and a half ago. Now, the rest is history. We have about 60 agents now here in El Paso. We're growing extremely fast. Our CEO is coming next week, to check out everything that we're doing here in El Paso. It's just been amazing. So to answer your question, answer to your question is, that's not the only person that I reached out to with a high identity. That's not the only person that I reached out to that owns a business. I've knocked on doors. I have other business partners that have been involved with me that own very successful businesses, and that have opened their doors to me. Why? Because I've gone in there and I've taken the initiative to be in their face and actually showing them what I could do. And I think that's, if you want something, just go out there, knock on that door, and don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it, because you are going to get no's. You are.
Right, for sure.
Yeah. But you know what? You got to get through all those no's to be able to get to that yes. And sometimes those no's is better for you because something else along is coming that is bigger. So
it's awesome, man. And I really appreciate your honesty, sharing your story. Sometimes it's hard to open up, but I really appreciate being honest with us today, sharing everything that you're doing. And I want to touch base a little bit of both things that you're doing. How are those first 6 months when you started both of the projects, PHP and Mentors Only? How were those emotionally to you? What was going on in your mind and in your thought?
It's it's crazy because it's a big challenge. Sometimes you need to focus on one thing. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's very easy to deviate and get unfocused on different things, right? In my mindset, if I was listening to that, Patrick has told me that, a lot of people have told me that, you gotta focus on one thing, the one thing. There's a book out there, it's called The One Thing, that you wanna read, because it teaches you how to do. If you're going for a vision, you wanna focus on that one thing, and everything else that falls into place is just gonna be added to it. So when we started Mentors Only, I wanted to make sure that it was something that I wasn't gonna take away, but was gonna add to it. So when I started this project, it was more on a way to reach out to people, to be able to reach out to people in a way that they knew that they had an open door right here with us. And it's challenging because you're trying to run a startup business in a new city, which is PHP. Then you start Mentors Only, which has been amazing, the actual feedback and the response from the people. And actually, right now we have a huge contract that we just landed. It's been how can I say this? It's been challenging. It's been frustrating, because there's times where you have to overcome so many challenges, and sometimes you're against the wall, but you gotta keep on pushing, man. You gotta keep on pushing. So it's not easy. It's not an easy thing. A lot of people think that it's easy. A lot of people think that it's a walk in the park, but not at all, man.
No, it's probably the farthest thing from walking in the park for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen it firsthand, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start the show. You know, show everybody out there that basically prepare you to know that. I know people might say like business is hard, being a business owner or starting your business is hard, but when you do it, like you have no idea how hard it is.
Mhm.
Like it's 10 times worse than you expected.
Yeah.
Emotionally, physically demanding on every single aspect. You basically go from working 40 hours a week to work over 100, like for sure. You're working every day.
Yeah.
So, you know, through all the things that you're working on, and like I said, you know, you're going through a lot of the struggles that you're going through. What is that vision for you that is keeping you going, that inspires you to keep pushing and to keep going until you reach that point? What does that look like for you?
You know what? To me, it's the money's good. However, to me, is more the legacy that I want to be able to leave. You know what I mean? I want to be able to impact people. I want to be able to get back to, you know, I grew up in Juarez and I see a lot of poverty, and not just in the money part. I'm talking about the mindset in people, and I want to be able to, me knowing that I'm gonna be able to impact those people and be able to help them reach their goals or reach whatever they want to do, and be able to provide a process that is very simple for them. I mean, that's what keeps me going every day, because I know that I'm gonna reach that. You know, I know that I'm gonna make that impact, and we're disrupting one industry, which is the life insurance industry right now through PHP. But I also want to disrupt the education system, because I believe that there's a better way for people to learn when it comes to business, when it comes to different things.
Right.
So that's what keeps me going every day, man.
What did you think about this? Like, I know a little bit of what it is to grow up in the negativity and the mindset of people in Mexico that can be pretty overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
And I've shared this publicly. I've been interviewing other podcasts where I share my story, and that was one of the things that hold me back for many years. You know, not having the support, not even knowing that I could get a mentor.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was the people around me, the ones that I looked up to, who had a job, who went to school. So I didn't have the the mindset. Nobody was doing anything that I was excited for. You know, nobody in the family or friends had a business. So how were you able to kind of block that out and don't allow that to drag you down? What is your secret with that?
There's no secret, man. It's it drains you sometimes, because the people that you think are gonna support you the most, they're the ones that will try to bring you down the most, because they don't see the same thing. And sometimes you just gotta know that a lot of times those people are trying to drag you down because they don't have the courage to actually do that, or they're not willing to risk, man. And sometimes when you're comfortable in a place where you're getting a paycheck every week and you're comfortable with that, it's to them that's it, you know. That's what they live for, and that's good enough. When I think about that, when I get all that negativity, that's what helps me going, because I always think, you know what, it's cool, you know, it's not for everybody. This is not for everybody, because not everybody's willing to take risks.
Right.
You know, to me, honestly, I've had nothing. I've had money, and if you were to take everything away from me right now, one thing that you will not take away is what I know. So that keeps me going as well. That keeps me pushing, because you know what, even if I fail, because I'm not afraid of failure. You know, I see that as a learning experience. So if I fail today, I know that I'm gonna get back up, and that's how I kind of been able to deal with that, you know, mentally wise, because it's not easy. It's not easy when you have so many people telling you, hey, you know what, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. You know what, you should do this. You should do that. And the funny thing is that most of the people that will tell you that are the people that are not in the place where you want to be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It always happens that way.
That was the first thing I thought when you were saying that.
Yeah.
You know, and why listen to people that, you know, if you want to be a hog, you know, why do you listen to the chicken? Like, look for the hogs.
Exactly. So it's about who you listen to, man.
Right.
Yeah, if you want to be a millionaire or multimillionaire or billionaire, listen to that person. There's going to be people that are going to try to bring you down, try to drag you down. You're going to be able to put all that negativity into you. But they're not where you want to be, so why are you even listening to them? Why are you even paying attention to them?
Right.
So
yeah, I think that's a gold nugget that you shared, and appreciate it. I know you know a lot about mentorship because of Mentors Only. Like you have your own, mentor programming and everything that you're doing. It's pretty amazing. And I know you've come a long way. You've done a lot of great things out there, and you're continue doing. I mean, this is not the end. Like, it's never an end, and we go back to the settle. Like you never settle as an entrepreneur, and that's why it's tough because you will never get to that point where you're comfortable to say, okay, good enough. I'm here. Like if you have it in you, you will. Even if you're okay, if you're doing okay, you want better and better, and you just want to grow that legacy. So through all the things that you've done, what do you think is your secret to success to guide you to the point where you are right now and what you're doing right now?
Just not be afraid, man. Not be afraid. That's the only thing. If you can be prepared to fail, that's gonna be what's gonna help you succeed. Because a lot of people are scared to lose things. A lot of people are scared. Oh no, what's gonna happen? It might work. It might not work. But if you can position yourself in your mindset, where you're like, you know what, I'm gonna go into this, whether it works or it doesn't work. I mean, you just gotta do it. You just gotta take action. There's a lot of times, and I'm guilty of that myself, where I think about an idea, and I'm like, oh man, it's not gonna work. It might work. It might, and I keep on going over the idea so long that at the end, I saw myself on actually not doing it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I totally agree.
Exactly. So sometimes you just gotta take action, man. You gotta go for it. And if it doesn't work, oh well. Move on and fix it. Just fix it.
Yeah. And that's that drives us back to the idea that fear isn't real. It's something that you have in your mind, and the only thing that can stop you, the only thing that can really stop from whatever you want to do is yourself. Is whatever you're thinking.
Yeah.
So that's awesome, man. So I want to change gears a little bit from your story.
Sure.
To what I like to call the hustle round, where we play this little word game with you.
Okay.
I will throw a word at you, and then the very first word that comes to mind, just say it aloud. We can censor later. You don't have to worry about that. No, I'm just kidding. They're going to be very, very common words that you're familiar with, and we'll try to do your best and see how you do.
Sounds good.
Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Hustle.
Always been.
Work.
It's 24/7, man. 24/7.
Employee.
Employee, not me.
Boss.
That's who we are.
Rules.
You gotta bend them sometimes.
College.
It's I don't know. To me, college is you can learn something, but not. It's not right.
Cool.
It's just not right.
Fear.
Fear. There's no fear.
Got it. Weakness.
Weakness. You gotta embrace it.
Nice. Strengths.
You have to keep on learning that. Yeah.
Motivation.
Oh, you gotta motivate yourself every day, man.
And last but not least, books.
Books. That's school.
There you go. Awesome. Perfect, man. That was a great hustle round. And I want to everybody that is listening right now to get something away from this episode. And I would like for you to share some motivational hustle quote that will inspire them to keep pushing. Maybe right now they are on the fence on they have a job and they want to quit their job to go full-time entrepreneur, or maybe they already started the business but they're not at the point where they want to be. What kind of motivation will you give them to keep pushing and to keep going even when it gets tough?
When right now you have, can you hear me now? Okay, so right now, whenever you're feeling like that, whenever you're trying to go into some new venture, I really think that the best way right now, we have so much information online that you can just go to YouTube and find people that have been in that industry, just like this. The Hustle Show, what we're about to do with Mentors Only, all this stuff. There's so many ways to be able to reach out or try to find ways of people that are in the industry that you want to go into, and figure out what they're doing. Find out what they're doing. See if that's something that you're actually willing to do, and then hear their story, because that's gonna set the pace for you. So to see if that's what you're willing to sacrifice to go into that. So sometimes we're very afraid because we're working 9 to 5. We hate our job. Have you ever been to the bar and you're talking to somebody that's complaining about their boss, and how they hate going to work, and they hate Mondays, and you see that on all over Facebook.
Right.
I hate Mondays, and I don't want to go to work. That's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
So you gotta I think you have to put a balance in that. You gotta decide. You're gonna be working anyways, and you're gonna be busting your ass off for something. Might as well be yours.
Right. I love it, man. Really appreciate it. And just want to, before we leave, I would love for people to be able to connect with you, hear more about you, get a hold of you, or maybe, find out more about PHP and Mentors Only and what you're doing. How can they connect with you, and how can they find out more about what you're doing?
The easiest way to connect with me would be through Facebook. You can search for Hector Reyes. And just add me as a friend. That's the easiest way.
Awesome. And I'll make sure that I link this in the show notes too, so that you are listening right now. It's going to be very easy for you. Just click the button in the show notes at thehustleshow.co, and you'll be able to connect with Hector. So again, man, very, very grateful to have you on the show.
Oh, thank you, man.
Really appreciate you taking the time to share your story, and not only that, but be transparent, be honest, and bust the myth that the Hustle Show is trying to bust, that it takes us 10 or 20 years to be an overnight success. And definitely not what we see on social media of the cars and the houses and all this fancy, glamorous side of entrepreneurship. But we really appreciate you keeping it real and being transparent with everybody. So again, wish you nothing but success. I know there's a lot of great things ahead of you, and you're about to explode and to continue doing what you're doing. So kudos to you, man, and best of success.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for having me here, brother. It's been amazing, man. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. So if you caught that live, I hope you enjoyed it. I can actually remove this. I was talking a little loud because I couldn't hear myself on this one, but really appreciate, my friend Hector here for everything, taking the time, allowing us to record in his amazing office with this nice view, because my little studio in the green tea business will definitely not fit both of us. But, we wanted to try this out, see how the live thing works. We do have a couple of questions, so I don't know if you want to respond.
Sure.
Bob Terriot, hey Bob, good friend of mine. What does he sell? What is PHP? So if you want to just give us the pitch of what PHP is.
PHP in a nutshell, what we do is we do financial services, and we educate people on how life insurance, debt management, and annuities work. We go down in deep into, and we pretty much take away all the misconceptions that people have about what life insurance is. So we try to educate the people and give them the information that a lot of people do not have access to because of what is called the minimum. A lot of companies like Merrill Lynch, all these type of companies, they're not willing to give you the time or teach you these things because you don't have the minimum, which is right now I think it's about $1 million or more. So we try to reach out to the community and educate them on this type of information.
That's awesome.
That should be available.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I hope that clears your question, Bob. Really appreciate that you're asking it. And the last thing that I want to ask everybody is let us know what you thought about this, in person, not only in person recording for the podcast, which podcast is going to be the same format, nothing's changing, but I wanted to try it out and see what is it like to do it like front face to face. Everything has been video call. So this is the very first, the second after George, but the first day that I ever did it. So let me know in the comments or shoot me an email, christian@thehustleshow.co, and let me know what you think, if we should keep looking for entrepreneurs locally, go to them, reach out in person. I think it's fun. I don't know what you think.
No,
but
I like it, man.
Yeah, it's
cool.
It's very fun. There's definitely no lag, because that's like, I ask a question and it takes 3 seconds to the other person on the internet to connect with me and respond. So that's one of the things that we're always editing. But, here it's pretty cool. I mean, it's just live and keep it casual and pretty fun. So, let me know in the comments and we'll share the heck out of this. Hopefully everybody got some value out of your story, which is amazing, man. So I really appreciate you sharing it. And I don't know if you want to share anything with our Facebook Live friends and YouTube. We're both on both channels right now. If you want to share a message.
So one of the things that I do want to invite to everybody here in El Paso, if they're local or if you're on the surrounding areas, we're bringing Patrick Bet-David next week here to El Paso. It's going to be on the 14th. If you want to find out more information, it's an exclusive event. However, you can get an invitation or you can be a part of this. You just got to reach out to us. You can reach out to me either at hplayers@mentorsonly.com or reach out on my Facebook page. We'll put the link right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So if you guys are interested in this event, let me know. Reach out to me. We're gonna be doing several events here in the area that are not just gonna be. This is not gonna be the last one. So just reach out to us, and that's it, man. I mean,
That's
anybody
awesome.
that wants to learn about entrepreneurship and that wants to connect with us, our doors are always welcome.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to have him and both George on the show, because they come from same area as me. We're from across the border from Mexico, but that doesn't stop us from doing whatever we want.
Exactly.
So that's why we're here, both of us, and that's why I wanted to bring him to the show and share his story and all the cool stuff that you're doing. So
Yeah.
really appreciate you guys and everybody watching right now. Hopefully we go viral or something, but we'll share the heck out of this.
Yeah.
And really appreciate everybody that watch, whatever, if you watch a few seconds or watch the full episode. Again, this is going to be a regular podcast episode, so it will be live on our podcast show, regular, but I wanted to try it out and see what happens when we do a live stream. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day, and we'll see you around later. Cool.